Ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time, I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Nora Monte.
So, Van Eric, Michael, thank you guys for attending our wedding. Van Eric, extra thank you for photographing. Photographing?
Yeah.
Okay. Photographing. Thank you. Thank you for photographing the rehearsal. We
Not a problem.
So now we just want you guys to tell your story of our wedding from your perspective.
All right. Do you want to go first?
I'll let you kick it off, my boy.
All right, let's go. All right, so I'll start from the beginning. Yeah, almost didn't make it because, again, I don't like parking. I don't like difficult parking, but once I went around the corner, I found some parking. It was good. Other than that, beautiful ceremony. Throughout the whole wedding and the reception and stuff, like you guys tried your hardest to make me cry, but I made it. I'm strong. Twana didn't make it. I think like my favorite point was probably the dance, you and your dad. Cause like I didn't, cause you know I don't know anyone really.
Yeah.
So it's like I thought it was gonna be something basic, and I was like, oh no, he dancing. I was like, okay. I was like, and Brittany came out with her Beyonce thing.
That was crazy.
The Hama's face, because he got the back view, so he's like. So yeah, but it was just families are nice, like just wonderful, joyful people, like good atmosphere, good vibe. Food was good. The cake, I got the strawberry one. That was delicious. It was you saying that I do too quick. That was hilarious. That was...
Now hold to be your husband, to live together after God's ordinances in the holy estate of matrimony. Will you love and honor him?
I do, yes.
That was pure Brittany right there. Dre did scare me because when he was trying to figure out, he bumped the table with the sand. And I was like, ooh, no, don't. What else? We both came through because when they had the juice, the sparkly juice, nobody had a bottle opener. The people who did not have a bottle opener, I had one on my key. So she was like, can I just use it to open noodles? I'm like, go right ahead. But then like after like 4 or 5, because mine's not the metal one, so they ended up snapping it, they ended up breaking it. So I was like, I don't know, I can't help now. I already came through. And I had a little bit of I came through because I had a little bit of that alcohol. Because I was like, yeah, but I told you I was like, oh, I'm bringing something, you know, because like and I came through and I was like, here you go. I was like, it ain't enough for a lot of people, but
I'm gonna be a little bit more simple. But I feel like as far as the ceremony is concerned, beautiful ceremony. I like the way you and your father did a little bit. Was that Bill Cosby or whatever? A little look to the side. That was dope. You know, I've never seen anything like that. I like how the minister was on point. You know, he was very good. Wasn't too long. Wasn't too short. Wasn't a lot of fluff. I like what he was saying. And you don't get that with a lot of ministers. Sometimes you're like, oh. I like the part that, you know, it was a lot of tears of joy. A lot. I've never been to a wedding that was that emotional. From the daddy, from the son, daughter, sort of son, mother dance, all the way through reception, basically until we started dancing.
Yep.
You know, it was tears of joy. And to see so many people emotionally invested, and y'all as well as y'all emotionally invested as well, I feel like it was deep. It was like it came from the loins from which they spoke and from which y'all spoke. and it wasn't no airs being put on. People putting their
Mhm.
heart on their sleeves.
Yeah.
All y'all when y'all talk, nobody was trying to put on for anybody.
Mhm.
Everybody was genuinely speaking from the heart, and I think that was the best part of the wedding. Was the love in the air. You could feel the love. And you've been to weddings where it was about other things.
Yep.
But with this wedding, it focused on what it should have been about. You two guys were the pillar of it, and you can see how people would involve their love in y'all's union. I like the fact that everybody. I think the thing went on cue. Right? I feel like y'all the dance with you and your pops. That was crazy. I don't know who's having more fun. Him or you.
And it was long.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be like a minute.
7 minutes long.
Yeah.
Did y'all practice that?
We practiced it literally right before we went on.
Well, I was thinking when I was done, I was like, I wonder was he over here or she was over there a couple of nights a week doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to think, you got the dance background. He has extensive dance background, so I was like, they probably didn't. Fun fact that I didn't know, I just found out that your father was there. That's huge to me because let bygones be bygones. If he would have missed that day, that's probably something that would have messed with him to his deathbed. Until you don't know how you might have would have felt about that in the future too, as you might have a son or children in the future. But and after I noticed that right before the dancing started, how everybody was coming up to y'all, and you didn't have time to really talk. All you could do is say thank you, hug. I mean, it was just a bombardment. That was a bombardment of love because I've been to some places where they expect for you to come to them instead of them coming, and everybody came to y'all. So that's a little mental note as well. How they was ready to let you know how they felt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I took from the wedding.
I mean, piggyback off of that, like put things in perspective. Like it hasn't even been a year since I've known Brittany. Yeah. Like I met her November when I moved here for the job, and I've met the Bahama like 2 months ago. So like the fact that she invited me to the wedding, because after she left work, we could have just not spoken again. But we still talk and stuff like that. It felt, being out of the way, it felt like I've known them for years.
Let me piggyback all that. Well, I can't make it finish. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead, Mr.
Same with her. We were together. It's been 6 months. Has it been about 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
And
6 months and like 15 minutes.
The very first day, me and her was cool.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, for me, with Aries, we're protective of our friends.
Exactly.
So I had kind of tunnel vision in the office. I was cool with everybody else, but this was my nigga.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? She was like my friend, and then she turned into my little sister. And I'm very protective of her. If I hear anybody talking crazy, I'm going to interject. Like, don't say no wild shit about my little sister if she ain't here to say that for herself.
I'm going to piggy right back up.
Okay, go ahead.
Because earlier today, I mentioned, I was like, yeah, it was like she was like my little sister. Yeah. So, whenever because it's Amazon, so everybody trying to hear everybody. Yeah. So they coming up to me like, hey, everybody. I'm like, I'll take a little picture of her and Dahama and be like, nope. I'm like, she don't want none of that.
And you know what? I know she's a beautiful girl, but I have never looked at. I have 3 friends that are females, and they're just on the same. Like they're who you talk to. You always need a different side from a man, and she's different because she's younger.
Yeah.
Than my other friends who were there. And so her perspective from a younger woman is even different from an older woman. Yeah. So I pride that, and being the respect I have for this young man. They did it the right way. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a kid out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. I know that there's not going to be any issues with fidelity. I know that you guys, just being around y'all, the first time I came over here to take this true, genuine love, and how y'all talk to one another, you will never want to make the other person feel any kind of way. You're protective of his heart, and she's protective of your heart, and you can tell. Some people have different type of relationship, love and hate. But y'all are very tender with y'all's affection and how y'all talk to each other. And don't, like your grandma said, don't change that shit. So, 2 more things. y'all's parents,
Oh, wonderful.
beautiful
Wonderful.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they look young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they look great, and you can tell how a person live their life, that they, you know, how they look, and you can tell they live a good life because, you know, no stress and a lot of drugs and staying. They look vibrant and young. I was like, dang. And one more thing, I'm done. One of our coworkers lives in Buffalo, New York. Flew down here to be at your wedding, and a coworker. So that speaks volumes. And she only worked with us for
like a month, maybe a month and a half.
And she came down here for. So who does that? Lets you know what caliber of person you guys are. You know, people don't do that for people they know for years.
Mm-hmm.
So
like when I was go ahead.
I'm done. I wanted to say boombastic.
Oh, boombastic. Like, well, you were there when I said bye to your dad. I didn't get to see your mom when I left, but like, I talked to your mom before I left, so I basically was just like you really remind me of my own mom, like, because she really does. I'm like, just like my mother, like this reminds me so much of my mother, and then I was like, well, that also explains why the home was so well put together and everything like that. So, you know, told her bye and everything, and you guys just have a wonderful family. Like that's why when I was asking her parents, I was like, how do you deal with that? And then like they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, oh, she's my love. I was like, y'all enablers. And I was like, and then like when we seeing them, I was like, oh, that's why they are crazy.
Yeah. When I saw her daddy's mannerisms, I said, okay.
Because I was trying to say it without saying the word crazy, because that's her parents, you know. I'm not gonna be like crazy, you know, because they don't know me. They don't know that I mean it in a fun, joyful way, you know. So I'm like, let me not say crazy, but I was like, oh, so they all crazy, you know, because like when I say Brittany's crazy, it's on in a loving way, you know. So like if you're really crazy, I wouldn't be here. But like, ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So now that we've spoken about our perspective on the weddings, what is you guys' perspective? What did you guys like the most? What's something that went wrong?
It's funny, he already knows the answers.
Honestly, although there were some items that went wrong, I was able to still stay calm about it and not become like a bridezilla. I actually had a conversation with my father, and I told him after what went wrong was fixed. He was like, I want to commend you for how calm you were. And I was like, well, I'm going to take that commitment and apply it to Dahama, because before I met him, I would have been crazy trying to figure out why is this happening, what's wrong. But because of what he's taught me through the years that we've been dating, like, just relax. Why stress about it? It's just going to make it worse. So I was very calm and handled the situation with Koof, and it worked out. So
that's the only way you can do it. What did go wrong?
So literally 14 hours before the wedding doors opened, we get a text from the DJ stating that he will not be there because it was a situation with his daughter. I do want to take a moment to shout out my friend Jordan. She is also a DJ and was willing to step in to do the DJing for the wedding. And she also made these shirts for us today. So thank you, Jordan. JoJo is what I call her. So yeah. And then I'll let him tell the other thing that went wrong.
Morning of, the plan was we had a shuttle coming to get us, and one of the groomsmen, and then just the way it happened was perfect, because one of the groomsmen, he was like, should I go get my jersey? And I was like, everybody was like, nah, we got plenty of time because the shuttle's supposed to come at this time. And I was like, nah, I think you should get it. So he went and got it. While he went and got it, he ran into her dad in the hallway, and that's when her dad was on the phone, and the shuttle bus got in an accident, so they weren't able to get. So he told him, like, get all the boys real quick. Y'all got to get in there. Whoever has the biggest car and drive off. So it's like, of course, he would have probably came down to the room, but it's like the fact that we sent him to go get the jersey and he ran into him, and like everybody was able to get our stuff together. And we met up at the park and we did everything, but it was just very hectic. And I told Britt this morning, I was like, not to say in terms of signs of not getting married, but because it was 2 back-to-back, I was like, is God trying to tell us like we should wait or postpone or move things around. I was like, because it's just too much back to back to back. And I was like, because people, this is where people and that I'm around, they're always like, I'm looking for a sign from God, and then for anything like good, bad, and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, I've always questioned them. I was like, well, how do you know if the sign is telling me to do this or not to do this? And then when it happened to me, I was like, is this a sign to say push through? Is this a sign to say hold on? Is this a sign, you know? But everything worked out in the end, and we were able to get into one of the SUVs, shoot over there. Everything worked without a hitch, but went off without a hitch.
Then during the rehearsal, I think I told you, I was like, hey, something's probably gonna go wrong.
Yeah. And Tika's husband, right after the game night, when we were saying our goodbyes, he was just like, hey, I promise you, at some point, something's going to go wrong. Your job is just to make sure Britt is good. And then, of course, in the moment, this is at least a week before the wedding. I'm like, who says that? Like, why would you, you know, like, I was mad at him. I was just like, why would you tell me something's going to go wrong?
And the funny thing with that, so my grandmother was actually saying the same thing. And every time someone says that to me, I cut them off. And I have to kind of like slap my hand on that because I hate being cut off. But I don't want to put that in the air. For those of you who have been at the wedding, you heard from our matron of honor, and she was like, I have very powerful words of affirmation. I speak things into existence. Your words will come into fruition. Don't say something is going to happen. So I immediately, every time I heard it, I said, no, it's going to go off without a hitch.
That's why I said it only to the mama.
Yeah.
Because for whenever I've done weddings, you don't want her to have any of that in her mind. But as the husband, you're the one who's supposed to be prepared for when something goes wrong. So I was like, even though it's the day before, I'll say it to you. Even though, like I said, I only met y'all 2 months ago. But I'm like, hey, because especially as men, to get some of those nerves off, you got to say, hey, something's going to go wrong. It might not, but we're like, hey, something.
Be prepared. Yeah.
You know, it's up to you to figure out how your mind state is. But as long as she's good, it doesn't matter what goes wrong. So I told him, I was like, I added to it. I said, something's going to go wrong. But every wedding I've been to, something went wrong, and you know what happened? It was a beautiful wedding. I was like, don't focus on that. And luckily.
Another thing, I'm sorry. Surprisingly, so the DJ texted me. I didn't tell anyone. I was literally trying to handle it myself. My mom got mad at me for that. But I ended up telling him, I want to say like, what?
Probably around that 11:30 mark.
Yeah. It was like 30 minutes before we actually fixed it. So I was trying to like keep all the stress because I didn't want to stress other people out. So I was like, yeah.
Two things. One, thank you for the accolades, but that's something I struggle with because being calm and in any situation can come off as you don't care.
Yeah.
So that was something that I struggled with, not in our relationship, but it's in life. Sometimes people read it as, oh, he just doesn't give a fuck. And I do. What does stressing about it do? About it. But if I don't, but from there, if I don't react the way they are, they're like, oh, he doesn't give a fuck. And then they get more mad, more aggravated with me. And I'm just like, it's just not how I roll.
As far as going wrong, there's one more slight thing that kind of went wrong, but it's kind of a trickle effect from the van getting hit. Because the van got into the accident and the guys had to go using their own cars, they got back to the hotel a little later and weren't able to clear out the room. So the plan was, I forgot that part too. So originally the hotel placed me next to my parents. Our plan was I booked my room for 2 nights, his room for 1 night. So the groomsmen came ready in his room and then bridesmaids in my room, close out his room, he goes to my room. Again, they put me next to my parents. So no. So we switched that. That was fine. But unfortunately, because we were late coming back from the first touch and the first look, the guys weren't able to get their stuff out of their hotel room. So they did charge us the second night. That's not something huge, but it did technically go wrong. So.
What's your favorite moment? Yeah.
My favorite moment, honestly, can I do 3? Okay. My number 1 was definitely our first touch and first look moment. Just being able to be in the presence of my husband, you know?
Oh my God.
I mean, like, granted, go ahead.
You weren't there. When we turned around, we looked at each other and she asked, she's like, can I kiss her? Everybody was like,
I saw the video.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, no.
That's why I was like, she's like, oh my God.
So it was very emotional, and not in the sense like everything is changing. We've been living together. He's my best friend. We already are in wife and husband mode, but it's official. Yeah, so it was a wonderful moment. My second favorite would definitely be my dad's first look, because that was actually held in the hotel, and I had all of my bridesmaids in front of me, and daddy came in, told him to turn around. Bridesmaids parted way, and then I walked up, I tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around and just started crying. My dad does not cry.
I did not know that. I thought y'all's first look. Well, I thought it was at the park, because that's where mine was. You got up every time. Oh.
If I have a daughter, I'm gonna cry. Like, I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
So my second one would have to be my sister's speech. So my sister's speech, once again, for those out there, I've heard different things, but the same overall time. My mom's was very tear grabbing. I'm gonna say eye grabbing, tear grabbing. But to me, my sister's speech was more emotional, because Ruby doesn't really speak that much, and she's really quiet, and like, I don't know, the fact that she couldn't even speak, like, yeah. I was just, but then the second time I was like, you're done. I took the mic. I was like, you tried, and I actually do commend you, Ruby, because I know you watched this. Like, the fact that you cried, you did that the first time. Usually people would sit down, but then you kept trying, and then so I was like, you know what? I actually commend you. A lot of people would just sat down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're crying.
Yeah. My third moment would have to be the surprise mother-daughter dance. It's funny, actually, because going back to the things that went wrong, of course, we were able to actually get a DJ, but that DJ was 10 hours into knowing that he was the DJ for our wedding. So getting him the timeline and the special songs and all of that, he didn't necessarily run through it with us. So he was going off the fly of what we gave him. And granted, everything was lined up, but I guess we didn't say, don't call out this person, just play it. So he started playing the song and was about to say, Angela, Brittany, come to the dance floor. I yelled across the freaking dance floor. I said, no, just play it. And then mom shot her head at me like, why are you yelling? And then she saw me get up and walk to her. And it was just so emotional.
I remember seeing your dad. He's like,
the DJ did an amazing job.
He did.
I remember on not the program, the schedule, it does say, not don't call out, but it says,
this is a surprise. Yeah.
So I guess he was just like, surprise over. But you know, in the moment, once again, came in clutch last minute.
Thank you, DJ Chino.
We found out after the fact he actually already had a gig, but because of his relationship with her dad, he was like, you know what, I'll make other arrangements for over there, and then I'll come me personally. Which even though that speaks volumes to your family, because a lot of people will be like, a lot of people will probably say no, which is understandable. It's literally hours before. Because imagine at 1 o'clock in the morning, you get a call, you're probably asleep, or you're getting off a gig from a DJ's perspective. Not only did you say I'll handle it, but you're sending somebody else to go handle that, while I personally handle this last minute for you. Versus, oh, I'll send somebody one of my second hand. You know, it's like that. I was like, wow, like you coming personally when you were already supposed to be halfway across wherever. And
yeah,
that was like, wow, that speaks volumes. Did you just do your third?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. My third has to be my mom's son dance. So that one, no, Mike, I didn't have a mic. And I told her some point in the days leading up, she's like, well, we can just sing to each other. Like I was nervous about the dance. I don't dance. That's why a lot of mine was just actually all of it was just swinging back and forth. And then I was like, well, the worst thing I would like to happen is I sing and then they do the whole mic thing, and I'm like, I don't want them to hear me. I want it to be whoever I'm singing to. So we sang a little bit, but I was still like more so like mouthing it. But for my mom, I sang it, and she was crying and all that, and like it was just really big because my mom, like we talked about, she doesn't really African parents don't really show emotion. So the fact that she broke down and all that, it just showed something I haven't seen in 27 years, and I'm 27 years old. I've never seen my mom cry before. So it was just like, wow.
It actually worked out for you that she cried because then you didn't have to really dance.
Yeah.
We're all just.
I wanna shout out my husband because for those who don't know, my father-daughter dance started off with the song "Like My Father" by Jax, and in that song it says, "I want to slow dance in the living room like it's senior prom." Was it last week or week before last?
It was like Monday.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday. It was one of those because I beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he came home and he had the song for our first dance queued up on the TV, and he surprised me. I came home, I walked in, and he asked me to dance. So we practiced our first dance. It was the cutest thing. He's just
she was
awesome.
So down. So we were practicing, and then of course Milo's right there, and I'm nervous, and it's just Milo. She's like, "You do the podcast, that's different. It's us in the camera, and then I edit it, and then people watch it. When we dance for everybody, it's live. There's no editing. There's no cut that out because I don't like it. I sound crazy, you know." So it was just like, but even in the thing, she reminded. I told her, I was like, "I'm getting nervous." She's like, "Just stay right here," and that's when we started singing to each other, and it's just like it worked out.
What was your favorite part with your boys?
Ooh, I have to pick one. So of course the photographer at the park. The photographer told us what pose is, where to go, who to stand, how to hold your jacket out, and stuff like that. But he said he had to switch out his battery, but he had the other camera still doing the video. So as soon as he did this, he said, "Y'all can relax." Like we all just kind of huddled each other, and like it wasn't even that was the one moment where I didn't even mind. It wasn't about me. Everybody was just, "Yo, you look like," complimenting each other. And these are people that, except for Andre and Eli, that have known each other just as long as I've known them. Since middle school, they just met in the last 2 years. So it was like for them to like talk to each other, brotherly love. It was really cool. Like that was a nice ass moment. It was just like, hey, it's not about me. Everybody was just laughing, good vibes. What about you and your girls?
So many.
I know. As you said, what's one? I was like, okay.
My favorite's definitely the morning of getting ready in the hotel, my sister-in-law doing my makeup, and I am an emotional person. Lord Jesus. Wow, okay. She was doing my makeup and she was like, "Nope, can't do that."
Go ahead.
I can't, because if I talk, I'm gonna cry. I'm trying to catch it.
Go ahead. That's why I asked for this for a second. I've had enough practice.
So, I know, right? That's a funny story too. Yeah.
That was a running joke of the reception.
So she was doing my makeup, and she was like, "You're so beautiful." I said, "You're so beautiful too." She said, "I'm so glad you're my sister." I said, "No," I said, "I'm so glad you're my sister." And she was like, "Well, I just want to enjoy these last few months." Nope.
And through the nose, out the nose.
She was like, "I just want to enjoy these last few moments of being Maddox's sisters." So.
Aw, that's cute.
And then it was not just Terry, of course, but I had my matron of honor. Oh Lord, I'm not gonna be that girl that cries on camera.
You did it on camera 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, true.
Just a different camera.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna come back to my matron of honor. One of my best friends from college is also one of my bridesmaids, Ambrielle. And as we were getting ready, she came up behind me and gave me one of those hugs, and she whispered in my ear, "Nope, stop doing that. Why are you doing that?" Okay. She whispered in my ear, and she was like, look around you and you have all of these friends. And then she started talking to everybody else. She was like, I remember so bad that you wanted to be in a sorority because you wanted to have.
It hasn't happened yet.
No,
I was pretty, yeah.
She's like, you wanted to have friends because I just had one friend, Ashley, and I wanted to be in a sorority so bad because I wanted people at my wedding. Don't stop.
I was saying stop. Just go. Just let it flow. Yeah. There you go. I feel like trying to fight it is making
It's making it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was just reminding me of how far I've come. So I really appreciated that. Back to my matron of honor. I got teary-eyed with her. I tried not to get teary-eyed with her because we've just had so much to get through, and she's always been there. So we already know how we are. But she then told me that her son's girlfriend is having contractions. So it hit me a little different because Tay knows how I love her and I know how she loves me too. But the fact that you're here with me when you're about to have your first grandchild and she's literally having contractions, it just hit me. It was like, you really care. Why am I crying? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I love my other 3 bridesmaids as well, but I can't go into it. I'm not about to keep crying on camera.
It's like me and Mike were saying. It's like you guys are just such good people, good energy, good atmosphere. It's like you attract people to you. Basically, the people who like you didn't have friends before because there was probably people who shouldn't be friends. Shouldn't be friends, but they wouldn't be. They couldn't handle who you were as a person.
Yeah.
You know how I joke around too much about how you're just so all over the place all the time, right? Some people can't handle that. You're too much good energy. You understand? So some people aren't right within, so you're so good, like they feel down about themselves. But you found people who you're so good, they want to be good with you.
That's beautifully said. Oh wow.
I'm the worst.
So you did 3? You technically did 3. So let me think of 2 more.
Yes, I did 3.
All right. The one with the we huddled. Chad. Baby Chad. Call him Baby Chad because freshman year of college, he came straight from Jamaica on a student visa. They graduated at 16. We're 18-year-olds thinking we're grown. He's a 16-year-old, so he's just as always Baby Chad. He's the top. He was at the time the tallest one, tallest and just tallest. He came over, kind of like Mike said. Everybody started rushing, but he waited. He made the eye contact a couple times, like I could tell he wanted to. So he finally waited his turn. He came over. Chad and Seth. Seth came over, so we had like a nice moment. Like this is the roommates are back together. The freshman year roommates are back together. And I think I told you about Chad. This is the one he would cook sophomore year, and then I would try to hide it. So that's. But I said freshman year roommates for a reason because there's also another sophomore group that came up as well.
Chad is the one that he says prepared him for me.
Yeah, he's like, it's not what you say, it's how you said it, Dahama.
Yeah, he's
like,
he's hilarious.
Yeah. So funny enough, this is one of those like how your mind plays tricks on you. Because I don't think we've had so many concerts, I don't even remember. But on and off the camera, but I remember it means I've always said I wanted kids, but I never saw myself getting married. Chad and Seth came up and they were like, I remember freshman year, you swore you were never gonna get married or have kids. And I was like, I did. They're like, yeah, man, like, cause and then now look at you. And they were like, it got to the point where this is from there that like you would get so aggravated, like, I'm not gonna get married. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. But I used to be a hothead back then, so it's not that crazy. But I was just like, full circle. It was just like, wow, this is like they remember me from 18 years old, now I'm 27, almost 10 years later, and it was just like, wow. Third, because it's supposed to be the boy. The reason I categorize
Yeah,
him
yeah.
as a boy, he wasn't. I've known him since I was 18, and damn. So I've known that just brought things full circle. So I've known Dre and Eli for almost 20 something years, and I know Chaff and Seth. Well, I know and Seth, and I know Chaff for almost 10 years. That's crazy. Your brother. So, of course, first look, they had me on they had a black visor on me, and they had me like standing in this spot. So even if I took it off, I still can't see her. So like, and then her brother comes over, and he was just like, "Hey man, you good?" And I was like, "It's hot." That's all. Because I wasn't uncomfortable, but I hate being hot. And he's like, "You can take the shades off. Like she's way over there. Just don't turn around." I took the shades off, and right next to me is a shaded area, and I was like, "Dre, you're fired." Like you know I hate being hot, and you could have put me in the shade behind the tree where I definitely can't see, but you stood me right here, dead center in the sun, no shade. Full circle moment for me. I'm going specifically my mom's speech.
Mm-hmm.
I told Brittany when we used to work together at the building in Beaufort, like whenever I had a stressful day, I would go into break and get a honey bun and a vanilla Coke. And my mom was talking about how I sat through classes. I was telling Brittany, I was like, well, I told her while we were dating, I was like, my mom used to like make little deals with me. I'll give you a honey bun and a vanilla Coke if you stay quiet. And we sat in the back. And it's funny that now that's my, like whenever I have a stressful day, well now it's a pretzel because honey bun. Yeah, but it's still vanilla Coke. And I was like, at Amazon, whenever I had a bad day, I would run straight for honey bun vanilla Coke and kind of like, and I never thought about where it came from, but talking to Brittany, her making me more of a emotionally intact person, I was like, wow, my mom used to do this when I was like 3, 4. Now at that time I was 24, and it's still my comfort food. I'm still going back to the basics of following my mom around college campus, and everything she said. And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but like a lot of people add fluff. Everything she said was true. I really had that conversation. It really went like that. I really sat through all her classes with her in the back of the class, like everything. Is there anything that you would change? Looking back.
Yes. We did not get to eat any, well, I wouldn't say any of our food. We ate very little because people kept pulling us in different directions, and I was getting slightly irritated, but I didn't want to like say anything, so I kind of just went along with it. But what really got me is when I went to try to get back to my food and it was tossed. I was like, with as much money as we spent, I didn't get to eat. Me, who likes food? Okay.
If I knew I would say that,
What I would have changed is just a decoration aspect. At the ceremony, the 2 pillars. I feel like that block, depending on where you're sitting, that block, because my sister and you guys at the Six Flags were saying, like, if you were on Brittany's side sitting down, you couldn't really see Brittany, you could see me, and vice versa. And I feel like the pillars would have cut out.
Yeah, she should have put short pillars
Yeah.
instead of those tall ones.
Yeah. Other than that, is there anything else you would have changed?
Not that I can think of.
We didn't do like a traditional, besides the family. We didn't do like a traditional, the homicide, Brittany side, because we had a lot of mutuals. But one thing, and I do love the thing you did with the pictures. But if we had known, because we didn't know that Belinda, the wedding planner, changed that when we lined up of who was gonna sit where. If we had known, I would have liked for Granddad and Auntie Diane's picture to be on next to my mom and grandma, and then your grandfather, your uncle, and Jasmine to be on your side. But we didn't. We were already lined up. Pictures were already sitting down there, so we were just like, I didn't think about it till literally I asked the question. I was like, that would have been nice. So that way, because you announced it, but I don't think my mom saw it because like pillar right here, she's sitting right here. Oh yeah. So like, and then that rows over there. So
speaking of which, my mother is funny. So my mom is the type of person that likes to know everything that's going on. So me being the type of person that likes to surprise people. I literally made a bet with my mom the day before the wedding. I was like, my goal is to make you cry as much as I can. Respectfully, with joy. So yeah, the memory chairs was a surprise, the mother-daughter dance surprise, and a few other surprises in there. But my mother's nosy. So during the rehearsal, our coordinator told my mom, okay, you guys are gonna come right here, second row. My mom's face immediately changed. And she didn't say anything right away because I was sitting down. I didn't, of course, walk down the aisle. It's apparently bad luck. But she came to me towards the end of the rehearsal and she was like, why am I on the second row? And I was like, Ma, trust me. I got you. I didn't tell her, but she kept like prodding, trying to get the answer out of me. And I was like refusing to say. And then same thing with the mother-daughter dance. So this is a funny one too, because my mom, after the rehearsal, was asking for the timeline. My father does all these things with weddings because he's a DJ, he's a host, MC, all of that. Officiant as well. So he knows exactly how to do this. He did it for us. Thank you, Daddy. And he created this timeline, sent it out to everyone except my mom for the specific reason that we had the mother-daughter dance listed on it. My mom would not let this go. She said to every single person, well, I don't want to say every single person, but she was like continuously asking for this timeline. So I reached out to our maid of honor who went home by this time, and I called her up. I was like, hey, Mayor, do you by any chance have your computer with you? She said, not at the moment, but I can. I was like, cool. When you get it, do you mind just opening up the timeline, editing it, and taking out the mother-daughter dance so I can send it to my mother? Thankfully, she was able to do it. We sent it to Mom. Everything was cool. But she's just funny. That's all I got to say with that.
I don't know if when I was walking in to a thing, she was already crying.
Really?
Yeah, like when she was going in, like she was like wiping a little.
Wow.
So she was prepared.
Wow, that is too funny.
That's great. Any other takeaways?
Not that I can think of. I am kind of disappointed that we didn't get to go around and take pictures with everyone because I already know I didn't get a chance to talk to everyone. Yeah. It's people that showed up that I didn't even know were there. So I would have at least liked to go around and take the picture with everyone because then we can look back in the memory and say, oh, this person was here. And then unfortunately, only like 10 people got to sign our guest book. So we really don't know who was there. Yeah. Yes, it was at the gift table.
That was a gift table?
Oh my God. Yeah. So it was, okay, we were in the center. We had the wedding party on the left side of us. We had the family on the right side of us. On the opposites,
From whose perspective?
From the audience perspective.
Okay.
So us in the middle, left side wedding party, and then it was a circle table over here with the cake. Right side, family table, it was a circle over here for the gifts.
Yeah, we saw the cake table, but
it was opposite of cake.
In my mind, that's one takeaway, or not takeaway, change. It should have flipped it. The reason why I say flipped is the reason why we had to cut the cake so early because it started melting because it was right next to that window. They should have put it over there.
I agree.
Because gifts, what is gonna melt?
I think the only reason we did is the gifts and stuff, cards and like I don't know what people usually put into cards, but that was closer to family. I think that was the only reason. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Nana didn't move at all.
Yeah.
So she was watching it the whole time.
Okay. I don't think anybody was still ready.
True. Very true, but yeah, because in the past we've had things go missing from birthday parties. So
what's one thing from the final cut, or just if anybody uploads to the Google Photos, the photo drive, that you're looking forward to seeing? Because
I'm looking forward to your walk down. Oh,
if you could try your hardest on
it. No, I can't. Okay, I can pick one if it's a 2-part. Because it's the same thing. Okay. I'm looking for the walks down the aisle. There we go. That's one. Specifically, you and Hannah. There we go.
Mine would be...
Can I add to that? The reason I'm looking forward to it, okay, so the way that we had the venue set up, we had pipe and drapes to block my entrance because I didn't come through the double doors right there. I came through the pretty double doors. So the way that the pipe and drape was set up, I could move the drape and look into the audience. However, when Dahama was walking down, I heard everyone in the crowd like hype it up, so I tried to peep, and my matron of honor slapped my hand. I was like, "Aw!" And then the same thing happened. I don't know who was walking down at this point, but the same cheer came and another hit. So I was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "It's gonna be in the video." I was like, "Okay, it better be in the video."
The one I'm looking forward to is I don't know where the videographer, which is to me is really good. If I don't even know where you're at, if I can't even tell you're there, you're doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
But when Reverend Blaylock or Bishop Blaylock asked, is there any reason or anybody, and the way I want to see the crowd. Hopefully he got any angle. I just want to see. We haven't found a video of that yet.
I was so tempted, like when Brittany turned around, I was gonna be like this, but I was like, I know she knows how I joke around.
Yeah.
Not today.
Can I do one more? I am so looking forward to seeing somebody's view of our handshake. We've had a handshake dang near since we started dating, and we did it right before the entrance into the reception hall, but no one has uploaded it yet.
One more thing I'll change. The more we talk, the more. So, were you able to get a good, not a video, but were you able to see the handshake?
No.
Because y'all were all the way over there.
Yeah.
So the handshake, the ending on the handshake is I put a imaginary crown on her head. Only thing I would change is she already had a tiara on. Mm-hmm. I wish I would have like had it in the back pocket or something and actually put it on her because that's part of the handshake. Yeah, I told you that when we sat down. I was like, oh, that would have been cool.
Well, thank you for tuning in, Squabblers. The Narmarte are signing out.
Keep your minds open and your volumes turned up.